pull over, I don't care. It's quite a rough ride, just like life. But I'm kind of patient, 'cause...
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. It is Monday. It is 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am the Crypto Crow, and I've got some interesting stuff to share with you guys today. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go over my current BitGet trade, because as I said, I was going to do it. I was going to get started, and I have begun. I'm in my first trade right now, which you can see. I actually entered this trade last night. I entered a short, and I got in a little late because I was having issues with the browser, and so I wasn't able to get in when I wanted to, but I'm like, hell with it. I just did a small trade, but so far so good. ROE is 2.25%, up 5.95 in my unrealized P&L. Anything could happen. It is leverage. I only went 3x. As you can see over here, I'm only going to do 3x trades. My liquidation price is $27,257. So what are the odds that it goes lower before it goes high? So it would have to go all the way up, like way, way, way high. It would have to get really high from where it is. It'd have to go up over $7,000 basically for me to get liquidated on this. And quite frankly, I just felt that the odds were in my favor. So we'll have to see. There are a lot of people out on TikTok and things talking about a melt up theory and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, I don't see that happening personally. Anything is possible. Some of these guys could be right. I personally believe we're going to continue going down. Now, that's not to say that I think we're going to crash right away. And I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you some stuff. And some of you guys are going to be like, well, Crow, that's not, just because this happened before doesn't mean it's going to happen again later. But anyway, I will show you what some of my thoughts are on the price of Bitcoin and everything else in the crypto market as it relates to what else is going on in the world. And then you guys can make your own decision. But I am in a positive trade right now, and I'll keep you guys updated. Again, let me know in the comments below if you guys like my indicator videos, because I'm always looking at new indicators. I'm always looking at testing things and doing a little back testing here and there. So yeah, let me know if you guys like those videos, because if you do, I'll start doing them regularly, but I really need to see some support for those. Charles Hoskinson predicts more crypto adoption as sovereign currencies fail. A recent Chainalysis report noted that crypto adoption in South America had grown by 40% within the last year. And wow, okay, you guys are hitting me with pop-ups. I hate pop-up ads on websites, especially news sites, because you guys just kind of cut your own nose off. Anyway, Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson has predicted that crypto will get more adoption as the national fiat currencies of several countries start to fail, which I believe is probably also very likely, which is one of the reasons Cardano is being developed the way it has been. I mean, it wants country adoption. It doesn't want to just, Cardano doesn't want to just be used for dApps and NFTs and little things. It wants entire countries to adopt the blockchain for its future growth in their economies and so forth and so on. Basho, Voltaire, all those things, those are things that could potentially institute voting and governance and all sorts of stuff. I mean, Cardano's being built with use cases in mind that I don't know of any other cryptocurrency or layer one blockchain that has the same mentality. Crypto is about to get a lot of adoption as sovereign currencies fail. Hoskinson made this prediction based on the recent victory of Lula da Silva as Brazil's new president. Da Silva previously served as Brazil's president, but was imprisoned in 2017 on corruption charges. A Supreme Court decision eventually released him. According to Hoskinson, South American countries are experiencing a left-wing wave, which he believes will impact the region within the next decade. Yeah, so, it sounds prime for the next peak. Even though it's not a next decade, we're going to be close. A recent Chainalysis report noted that crypto adoption in South America has grown by 40% within the last 12 months. And here's the other note to that is, while we in the States may say, well, regulation and everything associated with blockchain technology and how the governments are handling it here in the US, that doesn't mean anything for the rest of the world. So, while adoption and regulation and institutional investing and things like that continue to incrementally grow over time in the US, in other states where they're having significant issues in their economies and so forth, will obviously very much likely start adopting blockchain technology far beyond what we're used to seeing in the United States. It's already El Salvador. I mean, how about that for a case study? The tax authority also disclosed that over 12,000 companies declared that they were holding cryptocurrencies in August. Meanwhile, Brazil is one of the countries in South America where crypto adoption is rising. There appears to be a pattern of increased crypto adoption in struggling economies faced with a falling national currency. And we're seeing this all over the place, which also is what leads me into the whole narrative behind the CBDCs, the Fed now, a lot of these countries that are basically implementing their own digital assets, their own digital stable coins, if you will. And so, yeah, I expect to see a lot of stuff changing and happening over time with a lot of that. Now, we're going to go into Bitcoin. We're going to go into why I don't think we've bottomed just yet. And I will pull this down here. And then I've got some stuff that I need your help with after this. So we're going to close this out for now, and then we're going to bring that back later. All right, so this is Bitcoin on a weekly chart. All right. And as we're looking at this price, you can see if we zoom in a bit, you can see this is the current price action. And this is, as I've said many, many times, this white line is where I've set the 2003 forward, the NASDAQ charts, as it related to, like, I started it basically at the peak, the second peak of the last bull cycle. Now, if you see where we're at, so from the second peak, okay, if you were to take the price to today, we are 357 days from the second peak, 357. If you look at the peak of the last cycle, where is it? All right, so here's the peak. Here's approximately where we bottomed in the last cycle. That was 371 days. And I know some of you guys are going to be like, Crow, you can't base what's going to happen tomorrow on what happened yesterday. Yeah, I get it. But when you factor in the way the halving cycles are structured, and not only that, but the political climate of the world right now, what do I expect to see happen short term? Well, right now, I feel like there's a lot of pressure for the market to come down even further. Okay. I feel it. I see it. I feel that there's a lot. I mean, for the last 2 years, I believe, in my humble opinion, have been some of the most destructive across the board in almost all policies. I mean, it just about everything that's been happening has been part of a much greater agenda that, we are told one thing, but we see another actually happen. Okay. And people are really starting to open up to that. They're starting to see it now, finally. Even one of my most extreme leftist friends, who we used to get in heated debates, he had made comments in the past that I was completely dumbfounded by. Even he now is seemingly starting to change his perspectives on things. I think he's starting to realize what's been actually happening, and that some of us that have been kind of explaining things to him and others like him aren't necessarily crazy. And when I see a lot of this, I'm thinking, okay, so from approximately the last bottom until the next halving, we had, so I can't see it. Let me take a look here. We're going to draw this out. And all right. So it was about 511 days further until the halving cycle. So we went 570 something days to the bottom, and then another 500 and roughly 511 days until the halving. Now, if we were to look at that in current terms, right? We look at the price action of this peak, 357 days. No. Yeah, 300. Let me take this. So if that was Yeah, 371 days. Sorry, I've got this all mixed up. I'm looking at the wrong numbers. So from the peak to the bottom, 371 days. From this peak to where we're at right now, that's 357 days, roughly. This is a weekly chart, which basically means that if we were to bottom out around the same time, it could either be give or take maybe 20 days. Maybe we've already seen a bottom. Do I think we bottomed out all the way back here? No, I don't. I don't think we bottomed out all the way back here just 217 days after the second peak of the market. Now, if we were to take that peak and let's say we counted it towards the, oops, I'm messing up my chart here. This is what I want. If I'm taking the price and I'm going to set it up at this peak, that's still only 427 days. All right. To this bottom, that's not enough. That's not enough time. We didn't capitulate and go through all the cycles of a bear market that quickly. It just doesn't happen that way. However, what do we have coming up in November? Well, we had the midterm elections. What do I think is happening prior to the midterm elections? Well, I believe that things are, let's just say, being held up a bit. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but I believe things are being held up a bit. Because nobody wants further disaster, further problems, further issues, economically, politically, you name it, whatever's going on. Nobody wants to deal with that right before a midterm election. So on November 8th, okay, so we're at the second peak here, and by November 8th, let's see here. So that'd be Monday, that's the 14th. So this will be right about here. So that'll be the day before the midterms. And then maybe it starts to go up a little bit based off of the NASDAQ, right? What happened in 2003, 2004, 2005, all that. So if I were to look at that could be what happens. So let's say maybe we get a little bit more of a little peak up as people think, oh man, this side's winning the race. Things are going to get better. It's going to be a brighter day. But then reality sits. Post midterm elections, everything comes to light. And everybody realizes we're in a much worse situation than we once thought. And then we get our bottom. And it's very possible that we get our bottom in November. And, how low does that go in November? Well, to me, it depends on how bad things get. Now, I've seen cases being made for Cardano. Cardano, we may have bottomed and things are looking up. I don't buy any of that. I just don't. I would love to be able to say, listen, all of you guys know I love my Cardano. When I sold my Cardano, I cried. All right. I'm not joking. You guys know I'm not joking. I was super, super emotional. I almost felt like I was giving away a part of me to a large, and I know that sounds kind of crazy. Like, dude, you're a trader. I get it. But I've been a part of Cardano since practically inception. I was one of the first YouTubers out there, if not the first, who was basically explaining Cardano, educating about Cardano. There's so many of you guys that have followed me because you know how passionate I've been about Cardano and what they've been building. And Cardano's been proving itself time and time and time again ever since then. December 17th, 2017. I can almost consider that my real birthday. Okay, because that was the day that started to change my life forever. And so I'm not crying, I just had something in my eye. But it was a very, very emotional time because me selling, I fought it and I fought it and I fought it. And I knew I should have sold sooner, but I was really struggling with letting go of these tokens. And now that I have started to accumulate again, even though I started buying back in at 50 cents, I'm like, I still feel better. I feel like I'm getting my libs back. I feel like Voltron getting all of my body parts back in order. That's kind of how I feel. And I'm waiting for a much lower low. And so that being said, I can see this coming sometime. I could see the bottom happening in November. I think November, December, potentially. But I think it's not going to happen until after these midterm elections. That's just what I think. I'm not saying that that's exactly what's going to happen. We could have the midterm elections and we just, boom, we take off from there and then we start going sideways for a while. But think about it. We've got 518 days just from this mark here until the next halving. And so this price action here is very realistic to me when it's as it relates to the next halving. So overall, in a nutshell, that's what I think is happening. I'm not counting on any bottom being in yet. I am not, I see these little weekly candle pumps, and I'm like, that's all fine and dandy, but I am not sold. And you know what? The reality for me is, let's say we have bottomed, right? And the price is sitting around 40 cents, and then the midterms happen and we start to go up. If I end up buying back in and a bottom is confirmed and I buy back in at 50 cents, okay, cool. I already started there. So while there was a lot of opportunity for me to get lower, I didn't take it, but that's okay. That's my opinion on what I think is happening. I'm either right or wrong. We'll see. I mean, give me 60 days and I think we're going to find out. And that's all there is to it. So, and that's okay because I'm still building, right? I'm still building. We see this is about when I went into my short last night and I was having issues with my browser. And I'm like, listen, my liquidation price is so high. I'm not worried about getting liquidated in my sleep. That's the beauty of 3X. I can get the benefits of the leverage without having to worry about, really minor price changes. This is Ethereum and Bitcoin. These are 5-minute charts. And yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it, with my short trade. It's doing well. This is Bitcoin on a daily chart. We're still in bearish territory. I mean, any way we slice it, this is using Chart Prime, and I'm still using that. And it's like, when I made my short trade, I saw I had like 4 golden boxes up here, basically saying this is going to go down. I got the red candle, which is basically telling me the peak has been hit for the time frame in the short term, and I shorted. And so far that's been playing out pretty well for me. So we'll have to wait and see from here. But ultimately, that's what I think is happening. Now, I need your help because this is a big deal. And hopefully the moment you guys have been waiting for. We'll see. So we're going to close this, or we're going to open that up. All right. This is SoBlocks. Now, my goal, many of you guys know that I have been making an effort. My developer and I were trying to build the first social media platform on Cardano. There are some hurdles associated with this kind of project. And we're definitely hoping for Hydra to make things a lot easier from a development perspective, because the transaction fees associated with interacting with the Cardano blockchain are such that it's not very cost effective at the moment. Now, we are working on workarounds for this, and we have a Lightpaper that and we're going to go through it because I need your input. Now, what we've done is, obviously, if you've got a Murder of Crows NFT, you're able to access and set up a profile and get busy on SoBlocks right now. Okay, our alpha testers, if you will, and I encourage you to do so if you have one. I mean, there are almost 4,000 of you guys out there. Well, I don't know, maybe 3,000 with the multiples. People have bought 5 and 6 at a time, so who knows? But you can access SoBlocks right here. You connect your NAMI wallet. It'll read your wallet. It'll say, oh, you have a Murder of Crows. Cool. Here's access. Go ahead and create your profile. I encourage you to do it. Help us beta test and share your ideas. In addition to that, you've got this link here, SoBlocks Governance NFT Series. This is a separate thing. We have 500 of these NFTs. We're only going to ever have 500 governance NFTs. So if you don't have one, you might want to get one. Okay. It's entirely up to you. This is, again, not you're going to buy one of these and you're going to make a whole bunch of money. These are utility NFTs that are ultimately going to enable you to have a say in the development of SoBlocks as we move forward. My developer has been working really, really hard on getting things done. And so I'm going to share with you, this is kind of a little collage of the 3 different graphics. And when you click that governance link, you can basically mint your NFT here. I keep telling my developer, stop saying purchase. You're not purchase. You're minting your NFTs right here. Sometimes it's hard to get him to, he's doing so many things all at once that things slip by. But anyway, So you can mint your governance NFT. You really only need one, although the more you have, the more voting power you're going to have. Now, we're going to take a look at this Lightpaper, because I think that what we've been doing here, this is basically the plan. This is a living document, okay? So as we learn things, as we, explore things, some things may change, and ultimately we have a back end that's getting ready to be deployed specifically for governance NFT holders, because we want our community to say, yes, we like this feature, we like this feature, we don't like that, and here's why. And we want people to vote on the progress of the SoBlocks platform. Now, I'm going to read some of the basically the ideas that we've established on how we want to build out SoBlocks from here, the features and functions that we want to implement, and basically get your feedback. I want to know what you guys think. Is this a platform that you think you want to be a part of? Plain and simple. So the features, SoBlocks is a social media platform that will offer a variety of features which are broken down below. Content posting of any size. So basically short little tweet type, 140 characters, or full-blown 5-page articles if you want, okay? Boosting consists of a simple vote or a tip in the form of the block token. Once enough tipping has occurred, owners can choose for content to be minted to the blockchain via an NFT, where it remains forever and later sold or collected. So basically, you're able to take the content that you've created, and once you've minted that, whether it's an article or whatever it is, it will get minted to Cardano. But first, you have to build your community. You have to build your support base, because the costs associated with minting to the blockchain are typically a few ADA. And in the peak of a market where, a few ADA could be $20, right? There has to be a means of keeping costs down. Now, when Hydra launches, that'll play a big role in that. But at the same time, the way we're going to kind of offset that is by people being able to earn block tokens for posting and generate and building their community. So they're going to earn block token for posting and being active, but then they're going to be able to tip block token to content creators. Once a content creator has enough votes in block token, that can be converted into ADA to mint that post to the blockchain as an NFT. And then that content will be there forever. And that's ultimately the goal for that element of content. Content that doesn't receive enough support through voting or tips, such as spam, unpromoted content, and the like, risk being removed from SoBlocks entirely. This will reduce spam, unsupported content, and remove the bloat from the platform's databases. After a 6-month period for new accounts, by which users' content will remain in efforts to build their community. So basically, when a new user comes on board and they set up a profile and an account, they have 6 months ultimately to start building up their content, build their viewership, build their whatever, so that so when they post content, we want that content to be meaningful. We want that content to be eye-opening, educational, funny, whatever it is. We just want the community to support it, because there's no reason to have a big social media platform full of garbage, full of silly memes that nobody cares about, memes that are funny and people care about. Cool. But ultimately, that's the goal. We want to get the spam out, the spam bots, all of that. We want it gone. Content can be downvoted as well for faster removal, such as illegal content, harmful content, spam, and the like, which is unlikely to be saved by challenging upvoters. Immediate block commit can happen if a creator desires to pay in advance for having their content minted to the blockchain, and any upvotes or tips simply go into their wallet for future content commits. That's going to be a big element to this. Private group access. Users that create private groups can input a policy ID and allow only people that hold a particular NFT to gain access to their group. So let's say you are, like a Murder of Crows. I want to create a Murder of Crows group on SoBlocks. I create the group, I add my policy ID, and only Murder of Crows NFT holders will have access to that particular private group. That keeps basically everybody out that doesn't hold your particular NFT. And it also enables additional use cases for, utility art, NFT holders, NFT creators, and things like that. Gives them another outlet. User profiles. User profiles will be tied to their NAMI, Eternal, or similar browser-based Cardano Light wallet, ultimately Lace. I can definitely see Lace being widely used. Profiles will be configurable to display the typical profile photo, cover photo, etc. Profiles will also have the ability to feature the user's top 8 NFTs from their wallet with options to turn on offers for items in their NFT collection. So ultimately, when you create your profile, let's say you've been, accumulating NFTs for a while, kind of like Facebook's top 8 friends, you're going to be able to select your top 8 NFTs. And then ultimately people will be able to say, hey, I really like that NFT. I'd like to make an offer. And you're going to be able to do that directly from within SoBlocks. Profiles will be able to display public photos, a friends list, and other typical functions of a social media platform. Users will also be able to create groups based on keywords associated with the content of the group and promote them to build communities. These community groups can be made available for sale if a user wishes to discontinue growth of the group while being able to profit from their time spent. NFT Search Engine. The NFT Search Engine feature, which has already been developed as a standalone service but not yet integrated into SoBlocks, will catalog all Cardano-based NFTs and potentially other blockchains in the future. This has already been built. We already have this built. I've talked about it in the past, but we pulled down the standalone because a big part of the reason we were developing it to begin with was specifically for the social media platform we knew was coming. And display these NFTs much like a Google image search based on keywords associated with them. At the time we pulled down the NFT search engine, I think it had cataloged almost 6 million different NFTs. And then we're like, okay, we need to integrate this into SoBlocks, but we're not going to do that just yet, but it's ready already. Advertisers wishing to promote an NFT collection, project, or website can purchase space to be displayed within the search engine results pages using blocks, the platform's token. So ultimately, when we do launch that, and we integrate it into SoBlocks and people are able to start using that, the idea is that just like, Google AdWords and so forth, you're going to be able to use block tokens that you generate from posting and other things within the site. You're going to be able to use those to purchase advertising within the NFT search engine and other things. The marketplace. While we have a Cardano-based marketplace built already, a larger multi-chain marketplace is coming, and we may partner with in the future and integrate into SoBlocks. So we built the same as the search engine. We've already built a marketplace. Some of you have already seen in the past. However, I know of a multi-chain marketplace that we may integrate into SoBlocks instead through like APIs and things. So this is still to be decided. Are we going to use our own, or are we going to use this other platform? It all kind of depends on the partnership we're able to establish by the time we're ready to integrate that stuff. So, but the idea being, if you've got an NFT on your profile, somebody makes you an offer, you'll be able to do the deal right there on the site. You're not going to have to go somewhere else to another marketplace, to an outside platform to sell your NFTs or buy your NFTs or whatever. So we want it all to be a cohesive under one roof kind of platform. Sponsored features on user profiles can be offered within the platform by users with large fan bases. SoBlocks will take a percentage of each transaction. Yeah, that's it. SoBlocks will also allow users and groups to receive marketing communications from group owners. Owners will pay a small fee to send these messages to a user's direct message and email inboxes. This will allow an opt-in approach for users to receive these messages and a pool of interested users. So basically, as I'm building up a friends list or I'm building up a followership on SoBlocks, if I want to send out a message blast to everybody, I'll be able to do that, and I'll be able to pay for that in SoBlocks. So that I think will be an actually pretty cool idea, because like right now I've got like 40 something thousand people on Twitter, but I can't message all of them. I can't really do anything. So if I put out a new video or something, maybe it's worth $40 for me to basically email everybody, especially if I can go and I can say, okay, well, YouTube doesn't necessarily like me for whatever reason today, or they don't necessarily like this video for whatever reason. The algorithm isn't pushing it. So I can just blast everybody on my Twitter and say, hey, I've just put out a new video. Check it out. Is it worth $40 in block tokens for me to be able to do that if I'm building that kind of a following here? To me, absolutely. And to any other advertiser, really. But you will be able to opt out of those as well. So if you just don't want to know, or you just want to like, hey, I want to go and scout around SoBlocks and see what's going on without, a bunch of other stuff, you'll be able to do that. So blockchain gaming, this is a whole part of things that we're working on. Obviously, you guys know that I have a game that's been in development for a while that's also going to be on Cardano. Ultimately, I want to integrate that game into SoBlocks. So you'll be able to play it, engage, tournament ladders, all that stuff. I want to be able to have stuff like that functional on SoBlocks in the future. Development, governance. While we plan to submit a proposal to Cardano's Project Catalyst, we plan to bridge the gap in Q4 2022 by offering a series of NFTs we are calling SoBlocks Governance NFTs. We already have the code deployed. I mean, you can get those right now. You can mint those at right here. So the links will be in the description below. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. You can read further if you're interested in the details associated with those. But there's going to be a lot happening with those. Why Project Catalyst? So ultimately, we've broken down some of the expenses. Like the token supply right now is going to be really high, 600 billion tokens. Because when you're talking about a social media platform and the way the tokens can be used, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot going on. And I want the tokens cheap. I don't want the tokens to be, $20 someday. That's not what we want. What we want is a real utility token, not something you're going to buy today for a fraction of a penny and it's going to go up to $4. And we don't want that. We want something that's consistently, like, there'll obviously be volatility in the price of the token and so forth, but we want the token to be a price point that makes it easy to use as a utility, not as a speculative tool, if that makes sense. Because if people think that they're going to get a token for fractions of a penny and that it could go up to $2, like some meme coin or something, people are going to be less likely to use it for tipping, for donation, for this and that. I am more of the school for this platform about accumulation. You want to accumulate as much as you can to empower you to do cool things on the platform, not because you're expecting the price to go to the moon tomorrow. That limits adoption and use for something like this, in my opinion. So, for whatever it's worth, that's ultimately the goal, okay? So hopefully that puts things into perspective. There's boosting, minting. I mean, there's so much stuff that we have in the works that we've been plotting and planning. I would really love for you guys to, and this is my partner, Jason Lee. A lot of you guys know him. He built Crow Trader. He built, he's built all kinds of stuff. Okay. He's the one that's ultimately single-handedly built the NFT search engine. I mean, we've been working together for years on different things, and it's ultimately, everything has ultimately become like SoBlocks. I mean, it's a culmination of everything we've done. And we're at a point now where we're enlisting some help. Why Project Catalyst? The cost associated with developing this platform, as well as the server side requirements and everything that we're trying to build, it's just not cheap. And so, I'm waiting to get this in front of Charles because I want his feedback on our Lightpaper, on our features and functionality. I'm looking for any kind of guidance that he might be able to provide. We're ultimately planning on listing this on Project Catalyst. Let me know if you're an ADA holder and you're a Project Catalyst voter, would something like this get your support? If not, why? What could we do? Where are your interests? How after you've read this whole Lightpaper, just give us your feedback. I mean, because it really does mean a lot. I've put a lot of money into this already. I mean, it's safe to say I'm already in about, well, I mean, to me, it's a lot of money. To somebody with a whole bunch of capital, oh, we got $20 million, we got 50 million. I mean, I put 5 figures into this just to get it to where we're at. And there's going to be more to come, I'm sure. So, and that's one of the other aspects of this governance token is these governance NFTs are basically going to help me pay my dev to get us to a much better place by the time we actually hit Project Catalyst and people can say, okay, this is really happening. This is built. This is working. This looks good. This feels good. So forth and so on. Let's vote. Let's get these guys the development capital they really need to really push things to the next level, add to the team, add to the infrastructure, and so forth. And I have had some people from other major platforms who are all in a group now, and they're basically, they've brought in some of their team members. And when it's okay for me to announce that and who's helping us with this, I think people will be very pleasantly surprised to find out. But I don't want to say anything yet because they haven't said, yeah, go ahead, you can talk about us. But they are helping with some things, and I'm very grateful. And we've already been getting some really good advice and feedback. So that's that. I mean, hopefully, let's see where my trade is. And we're still going a little bit lower. It looks like we're pulling back a little. So, I might actually take profit on this trade here pretty soon. And even though I still think we're going to go lower, we might get a little bit of a pump here. We're way oversold in the RSI. This is again on a 15-minute chart. So, I'll look at this on higher time frames and see where we're at. But this is just a scalp. And I will say too, I don't know if I like scalping quite as much. I think I'm more of a swing trader. If I'm honest, and I really want to start working on maybe a 4-hour strategy, because I think a 4-hour strategy is definitely more comfortable for me. I don't want to have to watch the charts every 15 minutes all day long, just for these little 2% trades. That's not my bag. I just don't think, A, I don't have the time for that. B, I don't think I have the patience for that. And I think you're going to see some more stuff from me, basically evolving around 4-hour swing trading as we move forward. But yeah, I want to thank BitGet for basically helping me out, sponsoring me for the month of November. This is my birthday month. It's October 31st right now. So we're heading into my birthday month, but hopefully my birthday month sees a lot of fruit from the labor. So hopefully this video is helpful. I love reading your comments, so leave them down below. And until next time, guys, grow your coins, and I'll see you again real soon. See you on SoBlocks.com.